Hello everyone, welcome to Omega Reports. Today we're going to be learning how to add a unique distribution. Now as you may know, certain investment programs prorate their first distribution payment to their investors. This distribution payment is a calculation that essentially is based on when the investor was accepted into the program and when the distribution was actually made. Omega Reports has a built-in algorithm that mimics the same algorithm that the investment companies use, trying its very hardest to get as close to the distribution payment that is unique to your investor as humanly possible. As you can see here for Jane Smith, she invested in an AmREIT program in the middle of June. And if you look down here, in June of 2006, you can see that her distribution payment is substantially less than her July payment. This is obviously because she got into the program halfway into the month. Well, as hard as Omega Reports tries to get that distribution payment as close to what they actually received as possible, sometimes we're a little bit off. So we always recommend that you take the distribution amounts that are presented in the Omega report and compare them to either a brokerage account, a clearing statement, or just the statement that the vendor themselves sends you for that investor. So upon doing so, if you see that their June payment in 2006 was not $72.19, but instead was, let's say, $71.15, Omega Report still gives you the power and the ability to change that down to $71.15. Now, in the grand scheme of things, as you can note down here with the total amount returned and the simple rate of return, that $1.04 is going to make a very, very small difference across the whole grand scheme of things. But if you want the information correct down to the absolute penny, Omega Reports still allows you to do that. So, in this instance, if we're needing to prorate this payment down for this investor, Jane Smith, in June of 2006, down to $71.15, I'll show you exactly how to do that. Now, this also holds true for any other unique distribution that's needing to be made. If you're needing to change any other distribution amounts, these same steps apply, whether it's in the middle of the program, the end of the program, or as we're doing here, the first of the program. So what we're going to do is we're going to close the report. We're going to go on the left-hand side and click Edit Records, click Distributions at the top, and then click the Edit Unique Distributions tab. What we're having to do is just checking and making sure that there's not already a unique distribution for that program, for that investor, for that month and that year. So what we're going to do is click the registration drop-down box, select Jane Smith. Now if your registration that you're needing to prorate is not in this listing, then you're good to go. They don't have a unique distribution. But for this one we do. We have Jane Smith. Then we go down further, and there again, if the particular investment program that you're needing to prorate is not in this list, then you're still good to go. But for Jane Smith, her AmREIT program does show up, so that means that there is a prorated distribution already added to her investment. We click Execute, and here we can see what that distribution amount is. So what we need to do is double check that this is in June, which it is. It's June 15th, and we need to go ahead and delete that. So we click on the left at this gray square that highlights the row, click Delete. It asks us if we want to delete, and yes we do. So now there's no more unique distributions for June of 2006 for Jane Smith's AmREIT investment. Now that we know that that information is clear, what we can do is add the correct unique distribution. So on the left-hand side, we'll click Investments. We're brought by default to the unique distribution form. So what we do is select Jane Smith from the registration name drop-down list. We select her AmREIT investment. We change the date to June 15, 2006, and the actual day is not nearly as important as the month and the year. You have to be absolutely certain that that's the correct month and year that you want, but the date itself, the day, 15th, 14th, it doesn't matter. Then in the total distribution received, you're going to enter what they actually receive. So in this instance, it's going to be $71.15. And typically the return of capital is 0%, but if that's different, you can obviously change that. Click Submit. You're notified that it's been updated. Click OK. Now let's go over to the report and generate a report and just see and make sure that it is the $71.15. So just to recap, you want to double check that there isn't a unique distribution for that investor, for that program, for that month and year. And if there is, go ahead and delete it. Once it's been cleared and deleted, or made sure that there isn't a distribution there, you want to add that unique distribution from the investment screen on the left-hand side. And once we've done that, we can come here and look and make sure that the unique distribution shows up. Sure enough, the $71.15 is right there. And as you can see down here, the total program return and percent of original investment total program return has been changed to include that 71.15. And as you can see, the simple rate of return changed from 36.99% to 36.98%. So these same steps as I mentioned before hold for any time you're needing to prorate any distribution for any program. You just have to check and make sure that there isn't already a unique distribution for that month and year for that investor in that program. And if there isn't, you just go ahead and enter the unique distribution that you need under the investment screen on the left-hand side. So, as always, if you have any other questions about any of the other features in Omega Reports, please take a look over our extensive library of instructions and video tutorials. Otherwise, just keep on using Omega Reports because we always keep it simple. Thank you.